Hi everybody, my name is Jean Truelove and I belong to a couple of Facebook quilting sites, and quite a few people have asked me when I've posted my quilts, I hope I don't do it too much for you, how I make things so quickly. And I always say the proper tools really makes the job go very fast. And what I thought I'll make a video and I'll show you something that looks fairly complicated and is really quite simple and quick. That's my mantra. I have a block over here that I'm making, and it's a machine appliqué circle onto a background square with these sashing strips. I've already made quite a few of them, and I'm just going to show you very quickly how I actually make it. I've used my old 10-year-old Husqvarna sewing machine. It's actually a little bit broken, but I had bought, along with this machine, as an accessory, this table here, this extension table. It's not your regular plexiglass extension table. It actually has little tiny holes drilled in the table, and I'll show you what they're for. It fits very snugly. And then what I've used for this actual quilt, I've just bought one layer cake, a Moda layer cake through Larkspur, I think it's called. And what I do is, for this block, I'll take, just as they come off of the layer cake, I'll take two 10-inch squares and I'll put them together like that, right off of the layer cake, and I'll fold it in half, and then I'll fold it in half again, and right here with my finger I'll make a very point there. I'll just open up this, the squares, and there's a creased point. Now I lost the little tool that went with it, so I actually used a safety pin. No great big thing. So just like in school with the protractors, you put the safety pin in straight up and down, you find the center where you've creased it, and on this one I'm going to make a circle that is the first little hole in my extension table. My extension table is not moving. Now I'll put the pin in and I'll straighten out my fabric and put it under my thing. Now if you come around here, there's my machine has, it's very lovely, it has a straight stitch here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the straight stitch, and I'm going to stitch, and it's going to pivot on this pin, just like you used to do making circles with your protractor in school. So I'll just start, I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, but I'll just do a straight stitch, and you'll see me, I'm not pulling anything, I'm just gently guiding the fabric. I'm not pulling anything, but you'll watch. And it comes, and it's made a perfect circle. So I lift up my needle and I just cut those ends, and then with a keeping it in with the pin carefully, with a pair of very sharp scissors, I lift up the first one and I just want to cut out. It's very important that you cut from here, the middle of one end. I'll show you why afterwards. And just, you can feel your scissors, you can feel it just going along that seam. Be careful you don't cut the bottom, but you can feel it as you go along, just along that stitching line. You're cutting out a perfect circle that's already been stitched. You can feel this part of the scissors so you don't cut your bottom piece. Just go along there as close as you can. Oops, there you go. So I'm fairly close to my stitching seam. And you don't want to throw this piece out, and I want to show you that after, because you think, well, there's a piece of wasted fabric, but actually it's not, because I like this. Now, you come back over here, my machine, and most probably lots of yours, because you probably have newer machines, I can just go from this straight stitch on my machine, and I can do a fairly wide satin stitch on the applique satin stitch. So it's just a nice wide satin stitch. I like it a little bit smaller, so I just minus it down. Does it go? Yeah, to 5, whatever that is, 5.5. And then I'll just actually, my tail thread, and I actually just start, again, just holding it firmly. I'll just start, and you'll see it doing the satin stitch. I'm not pulling, I'm not stretching, I'm merely guiding it, although it doesn't really need to be guided because it's on the safety pin. I'm just guiding it, I'm smoothing it along. And if you can see behind me, the lovely wide satin stitch that's coming here. I like to use a consistent thread color. This one is a fairly shiny, I don't know what thread it is, but it makes a nice pretty sheen to my applique square. Now you see I've not pinned anything, I've not hand sewed anything, I've not turned anything under, and in just a second you'll see that I'll have made an absolutely perfect circle. Or the machine has made an absolutely perfect satin stitched circle with just 2 10-inch squares. I come to the end, bring my needle up, and you'll see that there is a perfectly beautiful applique square. Now, I just discovered this. I used to just sew these together or put sashing on it, and it made a very effective quilt. But I just realized I have this piece of fabric left over, and I don't like to waste anything. So while I'm sitting here, you'll notice that you'll have 2 perfectly long 10-inch pieces of the contrasting fabric. So I thought, well, since it's perfect, since every single one is the same, I'll just eyeball it. I'm not exact. I don't do anything exact. I cut a 10-inch strip. What is that? About 1.5 inches on that side of the thing, and then here's the other one. Another 10-inch by about 1 3/4 inch strip. The other bits are done. And now what I do, take my thing out. Now what I do, I just put my machine back to my straight stitch, and it's perfect. I can just do a top and a bottom. So with these 2 extra pieces, I'll just, again, a 1/4 inch seam, not exactly exact, but it works. There's one, and the other one. It's perfectly 10 inches. Just put it there. And just like that, however long this video took, I have a, what is it? About a 12-inch by 10-inch, oh, my machine's acting up. About a 10-inch by 12-inch block. Now I can, what I'll do with this, maybe after I'll iron them, I'll press them, I might do 4 like 4 across, 5 down, with maybe some sashing, because a layer cake is what, 40 pieces, so I can get 20 blocks. So that would be 4 blocks across, 5 blocks down. But what I've also bought is I bought some extra yardage to match. So with this quilt, I might add some, like maybe a cream sashing and a nice pretty wide border, and make a fairly decent throw quilt. But you see how quick that is? I can make 20 blocks very quickly because my machine's done it all, and they're the exact same size. But I was thinking the machine did all of this, and my table actually did all of this. This is the table I've had. And you might be saying, I don't have this table. How in the world will I do it? And I don't want for a second anybody to do this because I said so. But if it was me, I was thinking, if I didn't have this actually accessory, I have my plexiglass extension table, and I thought if I was brave enough, as it fits perfectly on my machine, what would prevent me from right across the needle, because that's where this, on this table, the little holes, to have somebody actually drill holes for the, like the pivot. Not that I would ever do that, but that's the principle of that extension table. As I said, this is a Husqvarna. I actually have my brother sewing machine, which is my workhorse. I use this machine all the time. It's fabulous. I don't even know if a brother has this extension table, so I go back to my little old Husqvarna here to make my circle quilts, which is very effective. But I was just thinking about it. Maybe you could actually just drill some holes, but I don't suggest you do that. But there you go. That's how I make a really quick quilt, really quick circle, machine applique quilt. Very effective. I do things very quickly, and that's how I do it. Thanks for watching. Bye.